Hey guys, today we're going to be working on the fence exercise. Now this is a really cool exercise for a green horse or more advanced horses like Stripe as well, where you're just really wanting to get breaking down, I guess, the steps of teaching yielding of the hindquarters and starting to incorporate our use of two reins as well. Really helpful for teaching the horse to move away from our indirect rein aid. So we're going to shoot this from a couple of different angles so that you can see what's happening on the outside of the body, what's happening on the inside, and what's happening from behind as well. So to get started, we're going to use the fence line because this basically just means that the fence is acting as the barrier to our stop. So we're not having to, especially for horses that haven't got to the stage of learning stop off a seat cue, and just because we're teaching something new, we don't want to be putting pressure on the mouth to kind of like pull them sideways. So the fence is really great for that. So we're going to just start off by going along the fence. Then I'm going to tip Stripe's nose to the fence and yield his hindquarters away. And you can see, like, at the moment he's quite, wow, there's a dead possum just strung up in the tree. That's fantastic. We'll just ignore that and carry on. Kiwi as here on the farm. So you could see that well, we've come to stop on an angle. We should be directly facing the fence, and you would have noticed that it was a bit jerky going around. He didn't really bend through his rib cage and step up and under, and there was a bit of brace through his jaw and his pole and the base of his neck. So as we do this, we're going to be able to work on those things and getting him really soft and supple the whole length of his body. But that's okay for a start. So from here, what I'm going to do is, so that was doing our hindquarters, now we're going to do the shoulders. So what I want to do is I want him to rock back on his hindquarters and then step his shoulders out on the track. I don't want him to just bend his head and walk on forward on the forehand, because we're really using this exercise to always be teaching them engage your core and go forward from the hind rather than just falling forward on the forehand and dragging yourself forward. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my rib cage up and slightly back, because I want to allow for those shoulders and wither to come up underneath me. Good boy, just wait. Too much talking, eh, buddy? Okay, so with my outside rein and outside leg, I'm going to keep his head straight on his body, close my outside rein against his neck. I'm going to close my outside leg just on the girth, and I'm going to open out my inside rein and inside leg and push those shoulders out onto the track. So he kind of already knows and understands those rein aids, but he's not perfect in it. So this is why this exercise is really good, because I can go back and sharpen up all of those little things that we're missing. So again, we've just done our hindquarters, now weight back, closing the outside, opening the inside, so that's the right side, keeping that head straight on the body and letting that right front foot step out onto the track. Okay, so now let's tip that nose to the fence again. It's still quite stiff through his body, and he's quite tense down here because we don't usually work down this end of the paddock. Okay, so I want to bring his focus back to me because I want to make sure he's with me before I ask him a question. Good boy. Okay, so closing, opening to the right. I'm just going to keep on holding there until he softens and comes with me. Good boy. There we go. Awesome. Okie dokie. So now we're going to do it heading back towards you. So it'll be the opposite this time. So going along the fence line, I'm going to tip his nose to the fence and yield that hindquarter away. And as I'm doing that, I'm putting a little bit of weight into my outside seat bone. Good boy. Okay, so now here you're going to see a view of what the inside looks like. So I'm going to close the outside, which is the right side, rein and leg, open the inside, feel like somebody's pulling my thigh off his body, and forward. So I'm creating the space on the left hand side for him to step into. Good boy. That was better. So doing this exercise, we get a good opportunity to see what they're really like on each side of their body as well, because we're mindfully practicing using all the parts of the body and how well they respond to each cue. Okay, again, so making sure that head is straight on the body. And what I try to do is I try to look almost to, like say in this direction, if he was straight onto the fence. I want to pretend that I'm almost getting his left front leg to step into an 11 o'clock position, and if I was going to the right, then we'd kind of be stepping into a 1 o'clock position. Okay, so bring my weight back, rib cage up, closing on the outside, opening on the inside. Good boy. Fantastic. And so as we progress on, our cues are going to get more and more refined, so it'll become almost like those invisible cues that we see when we see a great dressage rider or any rider out competing, and you can hardly see what they're asking the horse. Okay, so going back the other way, closing the outside, opening the inside. I take my shoulder to 1 o'clock, my hip to 1 o'clock. Good. Good boy. Okay, let's see if we can get him a little bit freed up through his body on this side. That was a lot better. Good boy. Awesome. Okay, weight back, opening on the inside, closing on the outside. Good boy. Fantastic. And again. Good boy. Okay, so we're going to tip that nose to the fence, yield the hindquarters away. Good boy, that was so much better already. Bring my weight up and back, allow for those shoulders to lift, closing on the outside, opening on the inside. With him moving back like that, I'm just going to stay with him until he steps. Good boy, and release straight away. Good. Okay, tip the nose to the fence, yield the hindquarters across. Good. Okay, weight up and back slightly, closing on the outside, opening to the inside. Good boy. Fantastic. And again, tip that nose. Good boy. And back the other way. So closing the right, opening the left. Good. So kind of just think of the direction that you want to go and move your body to that direction as well. So you've got to be thinking and with throughout your mind and your body where you're wanting to go, being really present with the horse. Okay, so closing on the outside, opening the inside. Good boy. Much better. So you can see how this exercise really benefits and sets the horse up for all of our lateral work and all of our riding in general later on. And after this we're going to do the 180 exercise, which we've been talking about online. So this is a really good exercise for setting that up, because in that exercise we're going to need to have hindquarter control, and we're also going to need to have control of those shoulders. So one thing I can feel in this is that Stripe's a little bit resistant, especially through that hindquarter turn. So what I might do is even just bring him out onto a circle and put some flexion right through his body, get him to step up and under and forward again, because you can see he gets a little bit stuck in this shoulder here. So that's the whole idea of breaking the big picture down into little things, so that when we feel resistance in the horse, we can take it back a step, make it easier for them, get rid of that resistance, and then carry on forward again. Good boy. Because there's no point in doing the same exercise over and over and over, hoping that it's going to get drastically better if the foundational things aren't working very well. Good boy, so that's a heap better there. So we'll leave this exercise here, and we'll also do it with a young green horse, so you can see the difference, and a horse that's just like really starting out from basics. So we look forward to seeing you in the next video.